Alrighty. Hi everybody. This is Lisa Brierley. I am right beside my husband Scott Brierley. This is podcast 40, episode 40, I should say, not podcast, episode 40 of Soulmates and Suitcases. And today we have an amazing guest with us. I know you are going to learn so much from Kari Berridge. We are excited to have her on our podcast. Hi, Kari. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
You are
Going to
welcome.
be a great conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to this conversation. Now, Carrie, you're in totally two different parts of the world for us, and we're in a very warm place. You're in a cold place in Canada, where we are originally from. And so welcome that you're joining us in your evening. And we would like for you to share a little bit about yourself. Maybe tell us a little bit about you, where you live, where you come from, what's sort of your mission in life right
Put a
now?
couple plugs in for your book and show us your books if you
Show
got
us
them
for sure.
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay. Well, like Scott and Lisa said, my name's Kari Berridge and I live in Sherwood Park, Alberta. I'm a mom of three. I have a daughter and then identical twin boys, and I have four grandkids ranging from 2 years old up to 14. And I do a multitude of things. So I teach piano, I am a fitness instructor, I run fitness retreats in the mountains in the summer, and I'm an author and a speaker. So I've spoken on quite a few stages. And what am I about? I'm all about living your true authentic life.
Yeah.
That's my mission, is for people to help people to see and live their true authentic lives.
And that seems to be a big shift in our world right now. Looking inward.
Yes. Yes, it's so important. Yeah.
Where did it start for you, the big shift in looking inwards?
3 years ago.
There you go.
3 years ago. Well, when I was 35, we'll back up, which was not 30, which was not 3 years ago. But when I was 35, I was in an abusive relationship. And it's funny how things work out, because he said I was the one that was, sick, and I was the one that needed help. So he made me go to a psychologist, and thank the good Lord that he did, because I was able to get out of that relationship and start working on myself. So I had not really worked on myself until then. I was busy being a single mom. I was, a single mom at 20. So I was busy raising my kids and just trying to survive. So I was coping. I was just coping, and I didn't know there was anything else really. I was just surviving is what I was doing. So yeah, when I started going to that psychologist and realized that it was not me, it was not my fault. And I got out of that relationship, and then I started to mend myself. But I really didn't start doing the work until 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And that is where my first book, Cut the Anchor, came from. Um, yeah, I had held a secret kept a secret from my daughter for 35 years. And what I didn't realize, and she found out 3 years ago, 3 years and 2 months ago. And what I didn't realize was that secret was causing toxicity in my body, and I was slowly killing myself from the inside out. Yeah.
It sounds like it was very heavy for you because I can see it just in your own, the way you describe it and how you really are affected by that understanding that it was affecting your daughter. And
Yes.
so what did you do? Like what shift did you make? Who made an impression on you? Like what happened?
Yeah. Some great questions. So what happened was, I was at a meeting, and when I got out of the meeting, my daughter had texted me, and big caps. If it could be bold, it would have been bold, but it said, "Call me now." And I had no idea what was going on. Her and I were best friends, but we had a kind of, a tumultuous time over the that last year, but we were still best friends. I talked to her every day on the phone. I saw her all the time. She just lives, 10 minutes from me. But I called her, and again, I had no idea what it was about. and she informed me that she had done a genealogy kit through 23andMe, and she had a 26% match with a female in Calgary, meaning she had a sister that she didn't know about. And therefore, the man she thought was her dad was not her dad. So my world just crashed. Like, it's, you know, when you get that fuzzy feeling inside and it's like that sick feeling, and you're having an anxiety attack or panic attack, and your world is just caving in on you. That's what happened in that second. And I don't know what happened to me, but I just broke. Like, I just broke inside and everything came out. So I told her everything that I could remember. So there's still some parts that don't quite make sense to me, how the timeline happened and stuff. I've tried to piece it together, but that's how our minds protect us, right? It's still protecting me for some things. But I told her everything that I did remember. And then when I got home, I was still talking to her. And she said, Mom, I need time to think about all this and process. And I said, of course, like, take your time. And that was the last day I ever talked to her. She wants nothing to do with me. I've tried many times. She won't talk about it. Like, she just won't talk to me. She said, I don't want you in my life. And that's when I knew, well, that's the night I tried to take my life. I didn't feel I had anything left to live for if I didn't have her and the kids. I mean, I have my boys, but your girl, I don't know. I was really close. I'm close with my boys, but not like I was with my daughter. And I think also because that secret affected her. And so I just thought, I was so low in the pit. I don't know if you guys have ever, felt so low, but I felt so low in the pit that I felt I had nothing left to live for at all. And at that moment, I actually didn't even know, because it was that night. So I didn't know that she wasn't going to talk to me again. But I think I was so embarrassed that I had kept the secret. I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't thinking that I did it because I was protecting her. I did it because I loved her. I was making the decisions, that a 20-year-old would make. But at the time, I just thought, I can't face anybody. I just made this, I kept this horrendous secret from her that her dad wasn't her dad. And I thought, how am I ever going to crawl out of this pit that I'm in? And so, yeah, I tried to take my life, and thanks to God, it didn't work. So thank you, God, I'm still here. But it was when that next couple days is, to answer your question, that's what propelled me to get help. And I had already signed up for personal development courses that started that Friday. This happened on a Sunday night, and I had already registered. And it took everything in my power to go to it, but it changed my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Isn't it funny how when we almost begrudgingly go do something that's good for us, that's what we get
Yeah.
growth?
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit emotional because I'm the male on the other side of what you're talking about, where my son's mother didn't tell him the big secret. And I was taught from my dad that secrets are no good and lies are no good. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't lie, but I don't lie to the people that matter.
Yeah.
And it really hurts. And I don't think he even knows to the day. Like, I think he's pushing 40 now, and I've never met him. And it's funny how we as parents, not that I've ever really been a parent, but I've watched parents lie to their kids or manipulate their kids because they think they're doing the right thing. And it's all just about them. It's not even about the kids. And it's a shame. And anyways, I don't know where I'm
That's
going with this.
your
But
perspective.
yeah, that's my perspective.
I think what
As-
you're speaking about, Kari, is you did what you knew best at the time as well, right? You were young.
Yeah.
Or
Well, actually, Scott, I read your story and it really touched me. So in my case, no excuses or anything like that, but in my case, I actually didn't know. What I mean by that is, my husband at the time. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time, and he had cheated on me. He was very abusive, not physically, but very mentally and very emotionally abusive. So I was 18 when I met him, and he was 24. And he cheated on me in that period from 18 to 19 and a half. He cheated on me 35 times.
Wow.
And yeah, and called me fat and stupid and ugly. And I was anorexic, and he still called me fat, and he called me stupid, and no one will ever love you. And I mean, it was crazy abuse, but I didn't even know I was being abused because I just didn't know any different. And everyone was, so in love with him. He was the guy. He looked like Garth Brooks, and he was just like the guy everybody wanted to be with. And so I kept thinking it's my fault. Everything's my fault. And I'll have to, I'll try to be better and stuff. So then what happened was, after all of these affairs, this is where my mind doesn't know I met up with my high school sweetheart, but I don't know how. How did I don't know. And my mind will not bring it back to me, even though I've tried. So I met up with him, and we had a one-night affair. That's what happened. So then 3 months later, it was the long weekend in May, and it was the Tuesday, and I'm now getting ready for work, and I was like really sick, and I knew it wasn't the flu, and I thought right away, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm pregnant. So I went right away and I got tested, and sure enough, I was pregnant. Well, do the math back. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so then I had her, plus I'm being abused, right? And so I had her and just pretended it was my boyfriend at the time. And then 6 months later, I was down in Calgary, and I was pushing my daughter in a stroller, and my school sweetheart drove by. So he's probably doing the math in his head. So he pulled over. I had not seen him since he pulled over, stopped, and then he like got out and walked towards us, and he pointed at my daughter, and he said, "Who's this?" And so I said, "I think she might be yours." So and I'm not blaming him. There's no blame for me in any, I mean, I could lay blame for everybody, including myself. But what he said was, I'll never forget this. He said, "Are you just looking for money? Because I'm in a really good relationship right now, and I don't want anything to F it up." Now, I might not remember some things, but I do remember that. And so here I am. I've just told who I think is the dad, but I still don't know for sure, but it just was like a gut instinct. So here I've told the man I think is her dad, and he doesn't want anything to do with her. I'm 19 years old. I don't have a job now because I've had my daughter. What am I going to do? I'm living up in Edmonton. My family is in Calgary. He doesn't want her. So I went back and I married the other one, and I still don't know whose it is, right? It's a flip of the coin. It could have been his in Edmonton. So then I, married him, and then 4 months later, he got someone pregnant. So I kick him out, and now I'm a single mom at 20 with no job. So the next day I went and got a job. And so I don't blame myself. I don't think I ever blame myself for not doing anything about it then, because I did try. What I blamed myself for all those years was that I didn't find one, get one of them to do a paternity test. But when you're, 19, 20, 21, and you have hardly any money, and you're at least getting some support, it wasn't much, but some support. And he took her, like, I think it was every second weekend. It was like, I just thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
I completely get that. However, it's funny how we think lying is the best thing, and you're lying by omission almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
In some cases, and in some cases you're not. Like, I don't believe my ex was lying by omission. She knew the truth, and
But we do, I think, as parents, do what we think is best. And a lot of us can look back and go, I would should have done that, or I should have done this, or I wish. And you did what you did, and all you have is today and forward. And like you said, you took control of yourself by starting the personal development work, by
Yeah.
writing 2 books, like
Yeah.
amazing people that you've connected with. And I think all those sort of areas or opportunities that now are flowing to you, it helps the flow of other things. We just don't know when that will
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
But just to go back for 1 second, like, and that's what, but to be honest, even though I was, lying by omission, but that's what was killing me. That's what was killing me was the, I mean, there wasn't one day that went by that I didn't hate myself. 35 years. Every single day I told myself I hated myself. I would say you're a liar, you're a cheater, you don't deserve anything. Um, your daughters, had a shitty dad because of you. Um, just like it was daily. And that's what was eating me up. So I think at the end, when the 35 years came to fruition with her finding out, it was like all the things that I'd been telling myself for 35 years. I mean, I put on a good face. Nobody had any idea that behind the scenes, I was, that I hated myself with a passion, and nobody knew that. I had this, tough exterior, and I was happy, and I had all these friends, and I did all this stuff, but inside, I despised myself. And I think that's where me trying to take my life, that was just the final straw, her finding out, and then the final straw of, okay, like now I can leave. Yeah.
That's
Because I always knew that's the other thing I said to myself all the time was she's going to find out, but I honestly thought I would be dead. I thought I'd be dead when she found out.
that's
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot, Carrie.
Yeah.
And so what I was thinking just totally left my brain. However, um, when it was such a good point I wanted
Yeah.
to make,
Sorry.
I totally forgot. Oh my gosh, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. So you found yourself, oh, I know what I was going to say. So you had all this going on, 35 years of kind of that self-doubt, not worthy. I hate myself, like to go to that extent. I hate
Yeah.
myself. And so was this like a buildup in your body? Because your second book, My Magnificent Messy Mind, is all about Tourette's, ADHD, OCD, my misophonia. I'm trying to remember
Misophonia.
all the
Yeah.
amazing
And
information in
anxiety.
that book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you feel that this was a buildup and created some of that in your body, or is this all happened? This was all apparent before that sort of explosion for you?
Yeah. Great question. Great question. So I've had Tourette since I was 5, but I wasn't diagnosed till 27. Now, like putting the timeline, I got pregnant with my daughter at 19. Okay. But I don't know I have Tourette's. So I'm battling that. So I've got, tics and all these things, and I don't know why I'm doing them. And I'm ticking today because it was a stressful day. And then I had anxiety, severe anxiety. My first anxiety attack was when I was 30, had an out of body experience. Looked down and saw myself. My daughter was helping me with blankets because I was freezing cold, and the room was very hot. I had like 6 blankets on at all times. She just kept rotating them from the dryer, and she was only 10. And I was ready to call, an ambulance. And that one was the most severe one I've had. And then they kind of got worse in my 30s, but I didn't know like why. I didn't know what was happening. Finally went to the doctors, found out they were panic attacks. Then the misophonia, which is you take a noise you don't like and then intensify that by like 100%. You feel enraged when you hear these certain sounds. Like you really, like when you look it up, it'll say in there, you feel so enraged you actually like want to stab somebody. It's so in like it's And I'm not an angry person. So to feel this enragement when I hear these noises where I actually like want to stab the person, I was like, what is wrong with me? So I add that to the list of already the shame and blame and guilt that I'm already carrying. And then I add that to it. And then the OCD I got diagnosed with when I finally got diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. And so there's all these things happening, and I didn't know what they were. But the real one, though, is the ADHD. So I'm sure I've had it since I was 5. I didn't know I had it, and I'm 58. I didn't know I had it until 3 years ago when all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then I start looking back at my life and going, well, because I always felt stupid. My entire life I felt stupid. So you got me feeling stupid. You've got me feeling not worthy of, I had to like really work hard to get my dad's love. So I feel unworthy and I don't, not pretty and not like throw in there anorexia. I was anorexic for 17 years. So you got that going on. Then I had postpartum depression that turned to depression. I had that for 17 years and I'm a single mom. You got all this going on and I didn't know I had ADHD. So it all came to a head 3 years ago. And I hope I answered your question with that. So yeah, I didn't get these things because of it. I had all this stuff, but I didn't know I had most of it.
I got
There's a
diagnosed
lot.
I got diagnosed with ADHD 3 years ago, and unlike the past, today I have enough self-esteem that I actually, when the doctor said, read this book, read this book, read this book, I read the books, and it's like for years I got diagnosed with depression. And then would beat myself up and I'm a loser because the medication doesn't even like it would work for a minute. And then I listened to one of Dr. Amen books and he talks about people getting misdiagnosed in I can't remember what the percentage is, but it's huge.
High,
Like it's
huge.
75 or like it's a huge percentage of people getting misdiagnosed. And that's kind of why I chose to go to Dr. Amen. He's down in the States and he actually does a spec scan of your brain and then so they can properly diagnose you. And I've slowly let him dial me in because I wasn't really hip on taking medication. So I took like half a dose from the beginning. Now I'm on 3/4 of a dose. And this last little bit, it's just like the awareness and the more calmness that's come into me. And I used to always be, what's wrong with me? Like I would do stuff. And when you talked about the noises, the only noise I can really think about that drives me insane, and I want to beat the owners, people that let their dogs bark and bark and bark and bark. I want to, not the dogs, I'm not mad at them because they're not trained properly. The owners
Yeah.
just want to, and for me, I've never actually thought about why that is. It just
Yeah.
grates my nerves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome that you went down there. I didn't even, I'm still new to all this research, but that's why I wrote the book. So the second book is My Magnificent Messy Mind, and it's all about all the neurodiversities. I just don't have autism in there because I don't have autism. Although when you look at the circles of ADHD, you've got autism here, ADHD here, and there's like a part that
Overlaps.
Yeah.
both of them have. And I have all those things. So maybe I do, maybe I am on the spectrum of autism too, but I didn't write about it. But I wrote the book because of people like you and I who find out later, and we go through life feeling, and I'm not speaking for you, but for myself, I felt stupid my whole life. And when you feel stupid your whole entire life, it has a huge impact on you. And I just want to help people. Number one, the reason I wrote the book, number one, I want to help people that maybe don't know that they have any of these, especially ADHD, where they can go and get tested. But I didn't write the book so that people can go, oh, woe is me, I have ADHD. No, there's so many great things attributes that we have because we have ADHD. So my whole book is about all the blessings, all the things that we can see, I'll just think of something. We can see patterns like no tomorrow, and other people do not see them. That's just one example. But we're very creative. Hyper focus, you want something done? Ask an ADHD person that has the hyper focus part of ADHD. We'll get it
Only,
done.
only if they get focused on it, though. If they
Yeah.
don't get focused
Yeah.
on it, it'll never get done.
Yeah. But if you do have
Very
that
intuitive as well. Very intuitive.
huge,
I find that Scott is very much like that.
huge, and empathy, we're very empathetic. We have a lot of intuition, like crazy, like we really do. And so when I hear people talk about all the negative and bad parts of the negative parts of having these neurodiversities, I wish they would, I wish they'd read my book because there's so many good things. There really is.
Well, if it's not properly treated, it is negative.
It can
Because,
be
like,
that.
if you get diagnosed with ADHD, and I don't know the terms, but Dr. Ama gets into it. If you need a downer and they give you an upper, it's going to spin you right out of the world. And then, of course, you're going to go right off the medication and go, oh, the doctors didn't work.
Exactly. And especially, Scott, for who I feel really bad for is kids. So you're an adult, I'm an adult. If we take, pills and we're feeling a certain way, like it's not working, but we can verbalize. Like I did go on medication and it didn't work for me, but the reason it didn't, and maybe I could have stayed on it longer, maybe I could have tried other things, but for me, I lost my sparkle. And I like my sparkle. I like who I now finally like. I love who I am. And I like that sparkle. I lost it with the medication I was on, number one. And number two, I lost my what's the word? I wasn't hungry. I lost my appetite and I went down to 98 pounds. I don't want to be 98 pounds. But yes, I could have maybe tried a different kind or stayed on it a little longer or whatever. But who I feel sorry for is kids that their parents don't have ADHD. So now you have a child that's medicated and they can't verbalize what I just verbalized.
Mhm.
So the parent doesn't know that the child isn't hungry because of they don't really get it. That, what do you mean you're not hungry? You just eat. You got to eat. But they just don't want it. It's just there's no appetite for it. But if the parent hasn't been on the pills and they don't have ADHD, it's really hard for them to understand.
Yeah.
And also, like, how does a child say, I lost my sparkle?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if they're 10, they don't know what that is.
From
So
what
I feel sorry.
From what I understand, though, if the child has ADHD, it's almost 95% one parent has it,
Yes. Yes.
whether
But,
they're diagnosed or not. Like,
and whether they'll admit it, right? Like,
100%.
whether they,
Yeah.
because so many people don't want that. This is, again, why I wrote the book. So many people don't want that diagnosis because they think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you're labeled.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
already an alcoholic, and I don't think I'm an alcoholic today. I think I medicated my ADHD.
That's a huge part in my book. And it's, my son, same thing. He has ADHD and he was an alcoholic for 9 years. And I completely think he was medicating through alcohol because of his ADHD, and he didn't know, because he didn't know he had it. So I think that happens a lot.
Like, and
Yeah.
also for the people out there that don't necessarily want to take medication, like I know Dr. Amen I'm on how many supplements?
We're on
I'm on 4 or 5 supplements
supplementation for brain health.
for
Really,
brain
it's a
health.
lot of it.
And
That's great. Yeah.
he even says his latest book that I just read, before he used to say there were 6 types of ADHD. Now he's on to 7. And he even suggests that head injuries could be in their own category of ADHD. So that could be 8 different categories of ADHD. And this is a man he was in Vietnam War. And after that, when he came back, that's when he started a psychiatric process. And he is a psychiatric doctor, but he bashes other psychiatric doctors because he goes, we're the only industry or doctors in the world that treat and medicate something we don't even examine. And that's where the SPECT scans
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
That's
So
why,
true.
for me, I'm really almost against the way they do it in Canada. You sit down,
Yeah.
even depression, you sit down and check off a couple boxes, and then they look at it and go, oh, you got this type, you should take this medication. And instead of actually
Yeah.
diving right into it. And
I 100% agree with you. Yeah. I didn't even know about that. I'm curious now. I want to look into him.
oh, he's fabulous. And actually, it's almost funny. I'm going to go back. I think it's almost 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. No, it'd be closer to 20. Me and my previous wife were seeing this therapist, actually just coach. And we're seeing her together and separate. And one day she goes, I think you need to look into Dr. Amen and go see him down in the States. And I'm like, well, I can't go to the States. I have a criminal record. So I just pushed it right aside. So
Yeah.
fast forward 15-ish years, I'm becoming a Teamster member, and I start taking one of the Teamsters to AA. He had been before. Well, after about 3 months of hanging out with this guy, he comes walking up to the truck and puts Dr. Amen's book in the truck and goes, I think you should read this. So I flew to Mexico and I had attempted to read it before, and I'm sitting in Mexico and the bikinis running around. And why I'm saying this is because I'm reading this book
Focus.
and I'm crying because it hit so home for me. But did I still go to Dr. Amen? No. I made the processes of starting to get a waiver after that, but then still never went because, of course, spending 4 or 5 grand on something that for my health, like, why would I do that?
Put it in your bike.
Yeah, put it into something that makes me feel good. And
Yeah.
so anyways, fast forward again, Lisa and I do this crisis and recovery coaching program. And guess who gets
Yeah.
put up?
Oh.
Dr. Raven. So
How many
Lisa's like,
signs do you need, Scott?
I call them nudges. Nudges. How many times do we ignore nudges? So, anyways,
Yeah.
Lisa started researching Dr. Amen, and she's like, "You're going down
You're
there."
going.
And the man,
Wow.
like, his research is brilliant, and the way he, like, and I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he's up there, and he's still just researching away because he wants to help people, not necessarily.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
totally gonna look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Thank you for
so much information through Dr. Amen. I'm sure many other people. So thinking of that, so brain health. So where
yeah.
are you in your understanding of what helps you with all sort of the challenges that you experience? Like what works for you? Because that may help our audience of things they can do proactively, right? Exercise, brain health,
Yep.
mental health, whatever it is.
Well, I do quite a few things for myself for myself now. Yoga being one that really helps calm my Tourette's. I also learned about tapping techniques. If my Tourette's are really bad, then I do tapping techniques. I do some breathing stuff, but not as much as I probably should. And then I meditate with or without tapes. So all that helps with I don't have anxiety anymore, but that could help with anxiety. It helps with my Tourette's. And then I do a gratitude book every single day. And I've been doing that for a long time. So I find 3 things I'm grateful for. And um, I'm a fitness coach, so I'm a big advocate of keeping yourself in shape. And not just like it's for body, but for me, it's also for my mind. Like I need to do some kind of a workout, whether it's even just go for a walk but I teach a lot of classes, so I'm always working out. But it's really important. Like if I'm feeling a little bit down, which it's kind of funny because I just don't have any down days anymore. I haven't in a long time. I truly love life, but I really need to get out and get my body moving. So those are definitely some things that I do, but always seeing the good in something, even like even if it's just something that seems horrific, I still find the good in it. And then of course my faith, believing in God. So that is a huge help for me too. But I take a lot of personal development courses, or just, I call them personal growth. That's what I call them now, personal growth courses. But I just took one on forgiveness the other day and talk about signs. I walked in and the first person I saw was somebody that wronged me very badly in my book.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and I talk about, and I said, I just finished saying I don't have anxiety. I don't have anxiety and I haven't had a panic attack in a long time. But as soon as I saw him, I backed out of the room and I called it's my friend that was running the workshop, and I kind of got her to come out, and I said, I was crying and I was shaking and I was like almost sick to my stomach because I can't can't go in there. Like, I can't do this. And, but I knew she was busy, and I'm always thinking of other people. So I said, like, she stayed out for a second. I said, you go back in. But she just said to me, she said the right thing. She said, you can do whatever you want. You can leave if you want, but perhaps this is where you need to be today. And she just said it like that. So I said, okay, you go back in and do, because it was starting in like 8 minutes, right? And I just did deep breathing techniques. And then I thought to myself, why would you run from a gift that God just gave you to learn forgiveness? Because that's what this workshop is about, is forgiveness. And the one person that's done you the most wrong is standing right on the other side of the wall. So I went back in. So yeah, talk about signs or nudges.
That takes a lot of courage.
That was very powerful.
Yeah. And actually at the end, when we were doing without going into it all, but when we were doing our final circle, we had to say something, just one word or one sentence of what we got out of the day. And he was first before me in the circle. And he looked right at me and he said, you could have left. Oh, I don't want to cry. He goes, you could have left, but you didn't. And he goes, that was the biggest thing you could have done. Or the bravest. He goes, that was the bravest thing you could have done. And he goes, thank you. So yeah, it was a powerful day.
Not all moments in life are easy.
No.
No. So yeah, talk about nudges. That was a nudge.
That was a big nudge.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about kind of the mental health and the physical side. One thing that's near and dear to me is food and what we put in our body. And I know when I met you, we met a couple years ago now, and I know some of the things that turned you off with eating, or certain foods turned you off. So how do you manage what you eat in regards to your health?
Yeah, another great question. I was very sick when I met you, actually, and it was coming off of all of this stuff. But I don't eat gluten. So I stay far away from gluten. I try really hard not to have red dye in my diet, because red dyes and gluten are really bad for ADHD, and red dyes are bad for Tourette syndrome. My Tourette's get worse if I have red dye. Yeah. So I try and stay away from all that. And sugar is, as we all know, sugar is a really bad one. So I try to eat as clean as I can. Fruits, vegetables. I don't eat meat. But I do eat fish. So pescatarian, I guess, and try and stay away from dairy. So I just try to eat as clean as possible. And I finally just got rid of I was never a sugar person, like, desserts and stuff. My thing was chips and pretzels, the salty. And I have not had either for, I think I'm going on 5 months now.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And I don't drink alcohol, and I just drink water. People always say, don't you get sick of drinking water? I just drink water, or hot lemon water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just try to eat as clean as possible. I'm not 100%, like, I do indulge, but that's what I try to do. And then I take supplements. Yeah, I take different supplements to help with, like, vitamin C, and I take magnesium, which has really helped with my sleep. Huge, because I couldn't sleep before. Now with the magnesium, it's prescribed magnesium, and I sleep through the night really well now. So yeah, I just try to do everything as natural as possible.
Yeah, as natural as possible. I'm like you. I only drink water at this point. It's been about, I don't know what, 3 months off coffee. Even though I
Nice.
was a huge coffee drinker, I still loved my coffee. And it takes time to get into these new habits and to make them a normal part of your life.
Yeah. But I say, I'm all about baby steps, and you just do one thing at a time. That's what I coach my clients. You just pick one thing. And if it's drink more water, that's it. And you don't worry about anything else. Once you got a handle on that, then it's, maybe you want to get more sleep. So you try go to bed half hour earlier. Maybe you want to go 2 hours earlier, but you just start with half an hour. You just start baby steps. Have more fruit and vegetables.
100%.
For me, it's funny, it's earlier. I got to go to bed later to be able to like get myself tired enough that I actually sleep till
True,
6.
true, true. I've heard that too. Yeah, for sure. I say earlier because most people want to, if they have to get up. Like I get up at 5:30 every morning. So if I want more sleep, I have to go to bed a little bit earlier. But absolutely, Scott, I've heard a lot of people say that they can't, it's that sweet spot. You got to find that sweet spot where you can just fall asleep then. And if you go to bed too early, you're just laying there thinking of all this,
Oh,
thinking of the ADHD brain, right?
not me. I fall asleep like that.
He's out like
But what if you went to bed earlier? Would
I
you
still fall
still fall?
asleep like that. But what happens is
Oh,
at 11:30 I'll wake up, or 2:30 I'll wake up, and then I'm up most of the night. So then I get split shift
right,
sleep. The same as like
right.
that happened last night. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, was up till 4:30, and then went back to sleep for an hour and got up.
Just a brief pause in the show. If you'd like to dive deeper into our work, our books are available on Amazon. You can also get instant electronic copies at payhip.com/Lisa Scott Brearley authors. Now, back to the show.
Right, right, right.
and
Yeah.
finding your
Yeah.
rhythm, and you change, and we're changing all the time. And of course we change where we even are and what food we're eating and
Yeah.
sun exposure, like all these things. And so it's kind of coming to this place of awareness, right? That's kind of where,
Yeah.
like you talked about, like taking that time for yourself.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
here, it's dark at 7 o'clock every
6:30,
6:30,
6:30.
7 o'clock every day of the year.
Yeah.
So it's at 8 o'clock, 8:30, you're going, I'm ready
Must
for
be
bed.
bed.
Yeah. Like when it gets dark here at 4:30 and
Yeah,
Yeah.
in winter time. That's right. That's right. So you said you also are a speaker. So what sort of topics are you talking about, and when people would invite you to speak?
well, the one I have been mostly talking about is The Secret and how I mean men hold men hold in shame and blame as well, but it's I think more women that talk about it. But holding in blame and shame and guilt and how toxic it can be in our bodies, that's mostly what I talk about. And but I just got hired to speak on neurodiversity. So I'm just in the middle of crafting that speech, and I'll hopefully be going into schools and talking about different neurodiversity and with the teachers as well, because again, my book is written from someone. I'm not obviously a medical doctor, but I have lived it. So that's how my book is written, is from someone that's lived it. And I actually had a teacher that bought it from, she's a retired teacher, and she bought my book on a Sunday and went at a spin class. And when she came to my spin class on the Tuesday, she'd already read the whole thing. And she said she had, been to many, 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 many talks and courses on neurodiversity during her course of her teaching career. And she said they were always from the higher ups that didn't have it. They had just done the research. And she said that my book was just phenomenal in how it, because it's not just written from my perspective. I have 28 people that wrote in the book. Lisa is one of them. And so you're really getting an idea of what it's like to live with all these from the people that actually live with them or the loved one of the person that has them. And so that's what I want to do, is really want to get into the professional development days with the teachers and show them. I'm not trying to change anything in the schools because but I'm trying to just show teachers what it's like from a person that has it from their perspective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, give a new, well, because you do it
a new
through
way to look.
story, right? You do it through story and
Yeah.
people telling their story, which I think resonates very well with children.
Yeah.
And it helps others. Sorry, that's our dog collar jingling. It helps others to, I think, empathize more, have more compassion and understanding through story.
100%. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then you're relating. When you can relate to people, or maybe they don't have something, but when you can do it through story, like you said, and it's more, I'm not thinking the right word, but relatable or personable. That's my word. When it's more personable, then you're more willing to read it or hear someone talk about it than if it's all scientific. At least that's how I feel. Because I don't have that brain, that scientific brain. So I would relate more if it was through someone that had it, or, or personable, relatable. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
and I'm just going to say something too. Oh, and I'm very happy that you're going into schools. That's, as you know, I'm a teacher, and so it's like being able to give kids a voice, and I think that's what that allows. Like when you work kind of that top down, so working with the principal, the teachers, they bring that into their classroom and it gives the kids a voice. And I think that's very important,
Yeah.
because we see even after COVID, which is for me personally, I noticed big shifts in stress and big shifts in understanding of what we really want to do in life, that finding that voice and really getting to the real person inside. I think with kids and teachers, same thing, like with everybody in that system. And when you think they're all together in this place and they do come together for the benefit of these kids. So let's like what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah, and thank you. And my book actually has a range in age from 14 to 82 of people that have written. And so one of my piano students, she has ADHD and anxiety, and she wrote in my book in both about the ADHD and the anxiety. So I think, having a wide range in age helps the older people and the younger people to be able to relate. It's not just people my age. And that's the other thing the reason I'd like to get into schools is because let's just take Tourette. ADHD is talked about, Tourette's is not talked about.
No.
It was hard for me to find people that had Tourette's. It was hard for me to get people to talk, they were the loved ones of someone with Tourette's. And if someone, just for an example, if a child is at school and they're ticking and they're getting made fun of, people make fun of things they don't know. They make fun of things they're scared of, or they make fun of things that they don't know, like they don't understand. So if I can bring awareness into schools about what Tourette's is, then I'm hoping maybe they wouldn't get bullied so much or picked on or teased or whatever word whatever's happening with them. Because I just don't think there's any awareness.
Yeah.
Like when I ask most people if they know what Tourette's are, 9 times out of 10, they have no idea what I'm talking about.
And
Right?
there's more to Tourette's than that typical, oh, it's people who shout out curse words or whatever.
That's less than 1% of the population that have Tourette's has that. And it's called corpulalia. It's a vocal tic. There's vocal and non-vocal, but that's a vocal tic. And it's the highest, it's the highest form of it. And it's less than 1%. I think it's 0.5% is what has that one.
Yeah. And I
Much
don't
to
know.
my boys dismaying when they would swear and blame it on Tourette's. I'm like, that's not Tourette's. Because they have all the things that I have, right? They have it all, but
Yeah. Do you, I don't know if this is too big of a topic for this conversation, but do you know where this might sort of all these anxieties and OCD and Tourette's, where it is stemming from? Like, did you ever have thoughts on that? Like, is it our environment? Is it toxins? Is it food? Is it like, what is it? Do you have a thought on that?
Oh, I've thought about it lots, and over the years. Now it all trickles down from my dad's side. And many, many times I've thought, where did, like, going back in all the generations, who should not have gotten together? Whose genes? Because in our family, other people, like there's Tourette's, there's all the things, ADHD, OCD, like there's not a lot of physical ailments in our family. There's a couple, but a lot of the mental stuff, bipolar,
Yeah.
depression, like all of that, right? And everything that I've written in the book. And so I've asked many times, I always wanted to go to school and study the brain. I'm just so intrigued in that, and what genes shouldn't have matched. I never really thought about the food or anything. I just always went to the genes. That's
Mhm.
yeah, I thought about it often
We did a
because other
pod,
families.
Sorry, we're having a little bit of glitch sometimes in our video. Oh, we're just
I was
having.
just going to say, because I was going to say, are you good?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What I was going to say is other families, like when I was growing up and I'd go to other families and, get to know them, like, because everyone not everybody lets you know everything, but I get to know families and I think they don't have any of what we have. No one has ADHD. No one has Tourette's. No one has depression. No one has anxiety and all these things. They might have like more physical issues or something. Like maybe they have, like, I don't know, MS or this or that, but they didn't seem to have the mental part. And I thought, why does my family have so much of it? And I mean, all my extended family, not just like my family, right? So, yeah. No, I thought about it.
It's interesting.
I
Yeah.
did a podcast with a friend of mine, Faye, and she talks tons about genealogy because that's the rabbit hole she's going down now, and
Okay.
finding out all the stuff that she needs to know. And it's a huge topic, and it's the next big frontier, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to learn
understood.
more. I did do genealogy. That's how I have done it. And you get
Oh,
your
no,
updates and I go on sometimes, but I would like to know more for
not
sure.
so much genealogy. I think it's where your genes. How did she
I
describe
don't
it?
remember.
I can't remember how she described it, but it's what makes her tick and what makes all that stuff, but it's not the past stuff, it's her stuff. Like she sent her blood out to get like so she knows what she should eat, and apparently the only
Right.
place that does it is England. Or
Okay.
the
Okay.
easiest spot to get the blood test is in England. I'm sure
England.
here in
Okay.
Thailand I could get it done pretty easy as well, but
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to get something like that done to just really know me,
yeah.
There's a
you know?
lot more. I mean, we could point the fingers, like I said, we could point the fingers at the food and the drugs and the toxins, and we can point our fingers or the stress or whatever in our lives. I think, present day, we need to increase our awareness that and I know this is a common saying, but it is what it is in regards to this is our way of life, and we have a variety of amazing, unique people in the world.
Final pause. If you've got a message on your heart and want to be our guest, don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you. Visit ForwardWalkingChoices.com, scroll to the Soulmates and Suitcases podcast section, and click Apply Here. Now back to the show.
World, and everybody brings something different, and you won't align with everybody, you won't align with all their energies, but there's still someone that they all contribute to this world, this earth
Yeah.
place we are, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so it's
And
not.
I would just want to say one thing because you
Yes.
kind of touched on something. For me, I never got along with my dad my entire life. My entire life. Once I wrote this book, he's my biggest advocate for the second book about the neurodivergence. He has all of them. I only knew he had Tourette's, and I knew he had a couple of anxiety attacks when he was in his 30s. I didn't know he had ADHD because that didn't get diagnosed back then. And now we can actually sit and talk like two normal people, and he'll say something and then he'll go, "Do you think that's ADHD?" And I'll go, "Yeah, it is, Dad." And now I understand, but it's the understanding, like we can't fix anything. We can't change anything. I wouldn't want to change any of it. I'm happy with who I am. So I feel blessed that I have all these things because it's made me who I am. But more importantly, I understand my dad now. And I
See?
understand why he did things he did when he was, when we were growing up. And I understand when he has his little outbursts or whatever. Like I get him now. And now I can kind of know how to handle isn't the right word, but just, how
Maneuver.
to
I don't know.
maneuver
Yeah.
around things he does and says. Whereas before, I didn't even know why I was doing the things I was doing, let alone why is he doing them. And then it was just like button heads. And
Yeah.
even like with my son,
Yeah.
he likes to argue with
Taking it's not taking those things personally. That's the
yes.
thing, right?
And 100%. And because I understand it now.
Yeah.
So when my son does things, I just remove myself. It's like, okay, time for me to go. Right. But I don't want to fight with him. I understand him. I understand, but there's no point in getting into a discussion about it. I understand why he just said what he said. And I could just stay or remove myself. But before I didn't get it. So I'd go home and I'd be hurt and I'd cry and I'd be upset and all this. And now there's none of that. And that's why it's just the understanding. And and going back to when people don't want labels, because since I've written the book, I've had many people say to me, well, why do you have to put a label on it? I don't want a label. I don't want to go and find out if I have ADHD because I don't want to be labeled. For me, everyone's different and everyone can do their thing. But for me, it was bottom line, it's the understanding. I understand myself so much better. I understand my loved ones that have all these things. I understand them so much better. And my life is so much better because A, I found out, and B, I wrote the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how you bring that up because last year when we were in Thailand, it's been a bit since I got diagnosed, and had been suggested a couple books to listen to. So I'm listening to another, I think Dr. Amen book. It could be somebody else, but I'm on the treadmill going like crazy. And it was Dr. Amen, and he's talking about this kid that he's treating, and the mom comes in, and the mom goes, I don't get it, because if he has a terrible morning with me and I take him to school, he has a great morning with his teacher. However, if he has a great morning with me, he goes to school and has a nightmare with the teacher. And what that did for me is, you read my book and you know how much I kind of pointed my finger at my brother for being a bully and angry and beating me. Well, all that's true. But the part that I didn't put in the book was I was like this, eat, 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 eat,
Yeah.
till I got what I wanted. And don't ask me why I thought I wanted a beating, but maybe it was attention. Maybe it was the way I have no idea the why. It just
Yeah.
was. So I had to go to my brother and go, I know you did this, but I also know this is one of the reasons why.
Right.
My brother's kind of out of touch with his feelings. He goes, that was that. That's all he said.
It is what it is. It's coming to
Yeah.
this place of, like you said, awareness, Carrie.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Awareness and self-healing, self-growth, self-acceptance. All those things came into play for you. And I think when
Mhm.
you talk about that and then this relationship with your dad opened up, is because you took care of yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, so 100, you hit it nail on the head. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping that for my daughter too. I'm hoping that she is doing her healing and taking care of herself and figuring her stuff out. And then maybe one day she'll realize that I'm human and she'll want a relationship again. And there has never been ill will. I miss them terribly, but she's on her path and I had to be on mine. And so hopefully one day the paths will cross again.
And
And
I totally hear you on that one. I know I had to about 5, 6, 7 years ago had to come to a space of with my own daughter of I needed to take care of me in order to ever show up for her. And
Yeah.
it kind of created this trajectory of, looking at my food, looking at my activity, looking at my mental health and all those sort of things and going, okay, it sounds selfish, however, it is not. You must take care of you
Yeah.
and whoever that other person is in your life that's going through their thing, it is their thing. And
Yeah.
and you must acknowledge them and they need to go through their journey as well. And I'm very grateful even for the challenges that my daughter and I have had and she's experienced because it was a gift to me. It made me see how important life is
Yeah.
and to really sort of focus on the things to keep my healthiest health span as I can
Yeah.
going. So yeah, so I
Yeah, well,
totally
what happened had to happen. Like I know it was a gift.
yeah.
Um, it was a gift that my life fell apart
Yeah.
because I honestly don't know if I'd still be here. So
Yes.
it was a total gift that night that happened and that like with her and then with me not succeeding. It yeah, it was like everything completely smashed open and just completely erupted and it had to for
Mhm.
everything to be healed.
Yeah, exactly.
So no regrets on that part, and
Yeah.
I'm and some people don't understand that. They're like, what do you mean you wanted that to happen? Now you don't see your grandkids. It's like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying what happened had to have had to happen for me to heal
Yeah.
and learn to love myself again and to be living an authentic life that I never lived. I've never lived authentic until the last 3 years. And I finally now can say I absolutely love myself and I can mean it. And I never, ever could say that before and mean it. So
I can relate.
What an amazing way to sort of sum up and kind of start to wrap up our show. Like, I love myself. I'm worthy and I love myself. That's amazing. So, Kari,
yeah.
before we do let you go, where can our audience find your books?
Yeah. So on my website, fittomotivate.net, I'm sure you'll have the information. And I have a tab that says books, and all my books will be in there. I've written the two, of course, that we've talked about, My Magnificent Messy Mind and Cut the Anchor Upside Down. But I've also written into others. So Ignite Joy, and another one comes out December 5th, and it's about tattoos. It's called Resilient AF Skin Deep, and it's about my sister. So
Oh, beautiful.
those can all be found on my website.
And you also mentioned you're a speaker. So, how can people get a hold of you? Everything's on your website?
Everything's on my website. Yeah, absolutely. So I can be reached there. Yeah.
Super. Thanks so much, Kari. We
Thanks for
appreciate the
having me. I really
conversation.
appreciate it.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be very enlightening to many, many people.
I hope so. Yeah. So thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
No matter what comes our way, I can always say, I know we'll win the fight. Baby, it's you and me, here's to the rest of our lives.
Want to get our books fast and at the best price? Get your electronic copy at https://payhip.com/Lisa Scott Brearley authors. Again, that's https://payhip.com/Lisa Scott Brearley authors.